CutiBaby!
Snow White and the Little Forest Friends, a gentle story for tiny ones. Once upon a time, in a bright and happy kingdom, there lived a girl named Snow White. Her skin was soft like snow, her lips were red like roses, and her hair was dark like the nighttime sky. Snow White loved to sing, sweep, dance, and smile at everyone she met. But the evil queen, who lived in the castle, didn't like that Snow White was so kind and beautiful. Every day she asked her magic mirror, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest one of all?" And one day the mirror answered, "Snow White." The queen became very jealous. Snow White, not knowing any of this, picked flowers in the garden and hummed happy songs to the birds. One day, Snow White wandered into the forest. At first, it felt big and dark, but soon soft eyes peeked from behind the trees, bunnies, deer, squirrels, and singing birds. Snow White smiled gently. "Oh, hello, little friends." The animals came close, feeling safe with her. With their help, she found a tiny cottage deep in the woods. The house was small and messy, but cozy. Inside, she saw 7 little chairs and 7 tiny beds. "Maybe children live here," she whispered. Snow White cleaned the house, laughed with the animals, and made everything shiny and bright. When the sun went down, the 7 dwarfs came home. Doc, Grumpy, Happy, Sleepy, Bashful, Sneezy, and Dopey. They were so surprised. "Who's in our house?" they cried. But when they saw Snow White's kind smile, their hearts warmed like soft cookies in the oven. She told them her name, and soon they were all friends. Snow White cooked with them, sang with them, and listened as they told silly jokes. Dopey made her giggle. Grumpy pretended to be tough, but he liked her too. Happy clapped his hands and danced every day. But the evil queen still wanted to find Snow White. She made a magic potion that turned her into an old woman. "I will trick her," she said. One afternoon, while the dwarfs were working in the mine, the queen came to the cottage with a shiny red apple. "Try this, dear," she said. Snow White didn't know it was a trick. She took a tiny bite, and suddenly she fell into a deep, quiet sleep, a sleep she could not wake from. When the 7 dwarfs returned, they gasped. Their hearts felt heavy and sad. They held her hands and cried softly. The forest animals bowed their heads too. But far away, a prince who had once heard Snow White singing came looking for her. When he saw her lying peacefully, he felt a strong warmth in his heart. He gently kissed her hand. And then something magical happened. Snow White opened her eyes. The dwarfs cheered. The animals jumped. Dopey did a happy dance and bumped into a tree. Snow White smiled at the prince. The forest glowed. Even Grumpy wiped a tiny tear from his eye. "Come with me," the prince said softly. Snow White thanked the dwarfs with warm hugs, one by one, and they waved at her with big smiles. Snow White rode off with the prince toward the shining castle, while the dwarfs and the forest animals cheered and clapped. And from that day on, Snow White lived surrounded by love, sunshine, music, and all the happiness her gentle heart could hold.
CutiBaby!